Hi everyone. Moving into our first module, we'll kick off this course by considering leadership. And what makes a good leader? A good public health leader. And actually, what is a leader? To answer that question, to how leadership pertains to the field of public health, let's also consider these questions. What are important characteristics for public health leaders today? What should public health leaders value? What should public health leaders know? And what should public health leaders be able to do? Who can be a leader in public health? We're going to define leader in terms of being responsive in an ethical manner to the world around us. In this public health realm, we'll drop any preconceived notion of leader as formal authority and power in organizations in a traditional sense. Power and leadership conceptually now become in terms of the target community. Coming back to the concept of ethically responsive leaders, in this context, leadership fosters collaboration in a manner that's respectful of difference and lined with cultural humility. In this vein, exercising our leadership potential in concert with others, we're better equipped at addressing social and health inequalities and their root causes. We're better able to recognize intersectionality of power and oppression from within our professional lives so that we can foster a more just public health practice and research agenda, ultimately leading to a more just society. We'll consider power in this course, along with oppressive forces in our work. There actually seems to be no better way than to set our perspective of power by going back to the work of Ella Baker, who perhaps was the most influential woman and leader in the civil rights movement. Ms. Baker's leadership perspective is the first model that we'll consider. She believed that each member of the community should be empowered as a leader so that leaders were developed, not identified, and that collective leadership was the most powerful. The co-article actually expands on this framework and gives it a name, Transcendent Leadership. Transcendent leadership is a strategic leader who leads within and amongst the levels of self, others, and organization. A transcendent leader is someone who goes within, between, above, and beyond these levels, and someone who also pays special attention to self-awareness, to understand one's own weaknesses and biases. A transcendent leader uses self-regulation to align values, intentions, and actions. This ultimately fosters collective decision-making. Collective decision-making and understanding a heightened awareness of self ultimately builds community. You can understand how this would have been a powerful leadership model for the civil rights movement, and in turn, currently for public health practice and striving for health equity. Now let's change pace and turn to our second leadership model. This leadership model, you could say, is a branch off Ms. Baker's work. The social change model of leadership focuses on community and finding the capacity to mobilize oneself as well as others to serve and work collaboratively, not rising into the position of boss or authority. Finally, let's turn to the third leadership model that we'll consider this semester. It's called resonant leadership. This model uses emotional intelligence to create resonance with others. As resonance is reinforcing sound by moving on the same wavelength, leaders have the power to impact the emotional status of people around them. They can have a positive effect, pulling everyone onto the same upbeat wavelength, or they can create dissonance, where their negativity bumps up against the emotions of others. Resident leaders use their emotional intelligence to direct the feelings to help a group meet its goals. Now let's go back and turn our attention to emotional intelligence. This concept is key to the resident leadership model. It's about your ability to recognize and understand your emotions and your skill at managing and dealing with other people's emotions. So what's the significance of coming to terms with your EI, or your emotional intelligence? Understanding what makes other people tick and developing positive and harmonious working relationships is clearly a step to build better professional relationships. Improving your EI will enable you to interact and communicate with others more effectively and enhance your own personal relationships. EI is increasingly being regarded as a major key in personal success, and by some as being more important than IQ. Being able to manage yourself and others successfully is often a crucial factor in success. And therefore, it increases personal effectiveness. EI can help you gain new perspectives on old difficulties, therefore improving your problem solving and decision making abilities. It can also help with developing your strategic thinking capability and your ability to motivate and inspire your team. You can really hear the differences when we describe EI if we're comparing to the Ella Baker model. EI gives you the tools to become more self-aware about your emotions and equips you with the strategies to use your emotions effectively, including the negative ones like anger or sadness, but leading to better self-management. And in this aspect of EI, you can hear the similarities of the more self-individually focused Ella Baker model leading to collective power. Leaders with high levels of EI have an advantage over their less well-equipped counterparts. EI can help you develop empathy and understanding about other people, and this is crucial to the ability to inspire, to influence, to motivate, and to persuade, especially when we're talking in terms of management or leadership, and ultimately leading to an improved leadership capability. Please be sure to review the additional resources from this module. They're really interesting, and there's blogs that you'll get a lot of information out of about emotional intelligence. And then there's even an emotional intelligence quiz. Let's now conclude by thinking about how we're going to intertwine these concepts with our course assignments. How are you going to use these leadership models in your group work? How about in your personal life career plan? Where do you see emotional intelligence playing into these aspects of the course? But more importantly, of your public health career trajectory. Thank you for tuning in to Module 1, and I look forward to talking about these more during our optional live chat. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.